Tonight, a rare and revealing look inside the relentless pressure surrounding Texas A&M football as offensive coordinator Colin Klein opens up about a journey marked by expectation, sacrifice, and a kind of unseen emotional weight that shapes leaders long before they ever step onto the field. Speaking after the Aggies' Wednesday practice, Klein stood in the soft glare of practice field lights, reflecting on a path that began long before Texas crowds ever chanted his name, back when he was a Heisman Trophy finalist in 2012, standing in New York City as the world watched a young Johnny Manziel claim college football's highest honor. Klein described that moment not as a personal triumph, but as a living, breathing proof of a team that had fought its way from being picked sixth in its conference to standing atop the nation, just a single quarter of bad football away from a national championship appearance. He spoke with a heaviness that comes only from remembering a season where every second felt like a lifetime, where every snap carried the hopes of teammates, a university, and a family that poured everything into that impossible climb. But tonight, Klein's voice carried the weight of something far more human. The moment he realized his own playing career was ending, cut from the Canadian Football League, forced into an unexpected crossroads, he sat with his wife and faced a question no athlete ever wants to confront. What comes next when the dream you carried your entire life suddenly dissolves? It was in that moment, he explained, that the echoes of his past began pulling him back toward the game, toward the coaches who had shaped him, men defined not by fame but by character. And it was that same search for integrity that eventually drew him to Texas A&M. To Mike Elko, a coach whose name came recommended by people Klein trusted deeply. People who told him that Elko was steady, honest, a man of rare integrity in a profession that often demands compromise. With only 3 days to get to know each other before life-altering decisions had to be made, Klein said he sensed a truth in Elko that gave him peace. Their first conversation stretched nearly 4 hours, diving into culture, leadership, how to treat players, and how to build men long before building plays. The kind of conversation that reveals whether two leaders see the world the same way. And now, with the 2025 season underway and the Aggies undefeated at 5-0, Klein carries that same intensity into every offensive decision, though he admits the search for consistency keeps him awake through the longest nights. He described an offense capable of explosive brilliance, moments when everything sinks and the entire stadium feels a surge, but also stretches where a single penalty, a single wrong decision, suffocates momentum and leaves drives gasping. He spoke with unmistakable pride when discussing receivers Mario and Casey, two players whose practice habits alone signal what was coming long before the season began. Young men who attack each day with a hunger that cannot be coached. And then there's Marcel, the quarterback whose evolution Klein describes with a quiet, almost protective admiration. Countless hours spent learning the game's deepest layers, endlessly reshaping his weekly routine, refusing to settle for anything less than growth, the kind of work that rarely makes headlines but defines seasons, defines futures, defines teams desperately searching for something bigger than statistics. And as Texas A&M prepares to face Florida on Saturday, Klein's words feel like a reminder of how fragile success can be, how quickly momentum can disappear, how every decision carries consequences that linger far beyond the field, how the weight of expectation presses harder with every passing hour, and how even in moments of calm, something inside this program continues to tighten, continues to